PrizePicks has a brand new offer for new customers. If you play one single entry for at least $5, they will give you $50 instantly. You place one entry, which I'm about to give you. They give you $50 instantly in your account that you can use for whatever you want. And to get that free $50, all you need to do is go to wewantpicks.com/prizepicks. Use promo code WWP when you sign up. And as soon as you place that first entry, $50 will be in your account that you can use instantly on whatever you want. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. And I'm going to give you my PrizePicks entry for UFC Abu Dhabi. If you don't know what PrizePicks is, it's daily fantasy. You come in here, you say more or less than any of the numbers you see on the screen. And like I said, they will give you free money to play. Build yourself a small little entry. Take the $50 that they give you, the free 50, and then you can throw that at a very safe entry and leave with even more money. It's the ticket, guys. That's the ticket. That's how we get there. You build an entry for $5, whatever you want to do, or even more. You get the 50 free in your account. You take that 50. You load up the safest entry you could ever think of, and you ride off into the sunset with all that free money that you made off of that 50. WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks, promo code WWP. If you're watching this video on Thursday or Friday, I'll have you know this entry was placed on Tuesday. If you're a premium member, if you're part of the We Want Picks premium community, I gave you this entry a few days ago when the lines came out. There have been some adjustments. I'm going to walk you through the entry anyway. It's fundamentally pretty much the same thing, but a couple of strikes in either direction could help or hurt us. So I'll walk you through what we've got going on here. We are going to start with significant strikes. I don't typically like significant strikes, but in this case, there's a few that I do like. We're going to go the less on Victoria Dudikova. This line moved, but it did move in our favor. It was at 51.5, and I placed the less. So 55.5 to less, all that did was give us a little bit of cushion, so we're good there. Frankly, if you look at her historical statistics, if you look at her opponent's historical statistics, and then if you zoom out and look at what you think this matchup is going to be, I don't think she gets to these numbers. Victoria Dudikova is not a high-volume striker. Victoria Dudikova also can grapple. Her opponent, Sam Hughes, can grapple. Her opponent, Sam Hughes, pushes a pace, stays in people's face. So I think what we're going to get here is a Victoria Dudikova fight where she might throw hands a little early and then look to wrestle. And if she doesn't look to wrestle, her opponent certainly will. And all of that is just going to keep this strike line low. I think what has happened here is they drop the line. People see a woman. They see that it's supposed to go 3 rounds, and they just click more blindly. I think this under is the sharp play here, and we got a little bit of a cushion, and certainly I've been wrong before. So we'll see how that goes. Then if we work our way down, the other significant strike line that I like is another female. We're going to go higher than 50.5 on Mackenzie Dern. This line moved against us. We had 47.5 earlier in the week. So 3 fewer strikes than this, and I did them more. So, listen, if 49 strikes are landed, I get paid and you don't. But the reality is, it's not often that one misses by 1 or 2 strikes. It certainly happens, but that's not typically the situation. And this is going to be the opposite of what I just said with Victoria Dudikova. I think in that fight, there's going to be grappling on either side of that coin. In this fight, we all know Mackenzie Dern has absolute trash takedowns, so she's not getting a takedown. Luby Godinez has low fight IQ, but I do trust her to not just start wrestling immediately because that would be a problem for her. Mackenzie Dern is tough as hell, moves forward, throws with volume, and yes, she's very hittable, but she also lays out strikes. I think Mackenzie Dern moves forward, lands as many strikes as she possibly can, especially because she's not going to get an offensive takedown, and I think she gets past this 50.5 significant strike line. If you run through her fight history, she has gotten past this number in wins and losses. The only time she doesn't really get to this number is if there's a super quick submission there, and while Lupi can make some of the dumbest decisions we've ever seen in a fist fight, I think she's smart enough to not at least immediately start wrestling here. The rest of these significant strike lines I don't love, right? We got UFC debuts. We got heavyweights. We have a lot of weird circumstances. We have some tough lines, so we're going to leave all of those alone. If we move over to fight minutes, you will see PFL in here. If you're a PFL guy, well, you're going to get PFL for total strikes, not significant. This is total strikes, and they're going to be sprinkled about in some other areas like fight time minutes. We're here to talk about UFC. I don't love any of these lines either. Cedric Dumas versus Dennis Tululin. Dennis Tululin's a guy that gets finished pretty often, pretty early. But at the same time, this could be a back and forth kind of fight. Cedric could be hanging around for the striking, maybe squeezing a takedown. It could drag on long. Shamil Gaziev versus Dontel Mays. Shamil Gaziev, historically, should not get past 10 fight minutes. But he is coming off that loss. We don't know what he's going to look like. Caio Fernandez is fighting an absolute bum, and he's dangerous, but the bum is very durable. So you see where I'm going with this? I don't love any of these lines, so we're going to leave these alone. If we jump over to Fantasy Score, what I like to do with Fantasy Score is I like to see a favorite that I don't think is going to win, and I hit the less. And I don't see anybody here that just seems like an egregious, let me slam the under, right? Joel Alvarez could lose that fight, but if he wins, he's going to put up all of these points. The rest of these should happen. Michael Chiesa is a weird one because you might want to do the more. Tony Ferguson's 900 years old. He hasn't won a fight in like 8 years or something absurd. He's 0-7 in his last 7 fights. The last win he had was an eye injury. So Michael Chiesa could potentially submit him or finish him, but I'm going to leave all of these alone, and we are going to go to takedowns for the third leg of this entry, and it's not here. If you followed this entry on Tuesday, we had Davis and Figueiredo more than 1.5 takedowns. In my mind, that made perfect sense. And by the time you're watching it, they may have added it back. These numbers are fluid numbers. They're adding in numbers, they're removing numbers, they're adjusting numbers. It's all fluid, right? These are almost like betting lines. Davis and Figueiredo was at 1.5 takedowns. I did the more. I feel like Davis and Figueiredo, just like we do, knows how durable Chito Vera is, how tough Chito Vera is, and doesn't want to be hanging around for a striking match. So he's going to work in takedowns. 1.5 takedown line was a gift. And if you're a premium member and you got that nice and early, well, you had your present nice and early. It is off the board. It might be on the board by the time you're watching this. If it is, hammer that over 1.5. If it's at 2, that's probably still good to go. In lieu of that, for this video, the third leg that I am going to add is the Alonzo Menafield more than 1/2 takedown. Azamat Murzakanov is dangerous. He's fast. He hits hard. Alonzo Menafield not only can strike, he can grapple as well. So much so that sometimes he's grappling when he shouldn't, and my cameras follow me around and I hate it. Sometimes he's grappling when he shouldn't. In this case, we need to. We just need one single takedown. I think Alonzo Menafield, coming off that bad knockout that he just came off of, I think Alonzo Menafield can come forward, at least squeeze in one single takedown. If you don't like that line, we can just leave it alone. And you can just throw $20 to win $60 on the 2 strike lines I already gave you. But we are going to add in Alonzo Menafield here. I do like that. As a power play, $20 is going to win you 100. You're going to 5 times your money. As a flex play, so let's say we're going to account for one of these missing. Well, all 3 of these hitting, you can more than 2 times your money. If one of them misses, you can still go home with 25% net profit. Let me go ahead and show you my entry so you can see the lines that disappeared. Here's the Davis and Figueiredo more than 1.5 takedowns that disappeared into thin air. Here's the Mackenzie Dern line before they raised it. And here's the Victoria Dudakova line before they raised it. If you like this entry, fantastic. Go ahead and attach yourself to it as well. If you don't like this entry, that's fine too. Build your own. The most important thing, though, is get your free $50. Go to WeWantPicks.com/PrizePicks. Use promo code WWP.